All right, last thing. I think I have decided what to use. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Made by Mac. I'm Mac and this is episode 8 of my YouTube podcast. Welcome. For those of you just joining us and those of you that are returning, thank you so much for watching my video. I'm Mac. I live in the Midwest with my husband and 2 dogs and 3 cats. And by day, I am a public school teacher at a high school. And I coach cross country in the fall and track in the spring. And then in the evenings, I wouldn't say night because I'm usually very tired and go to bed, but in the evenings, then I am a crochet designer, a YouTube podcaster, and just all around getting into crafts whenever I can. So I have a lot to share with you this episode, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, I want to start with my finished objects. I'm going to start with my most recently finished object. As of like 2 hours ago, I finished it as I was on the way home with my husband from a family get-together. So this is a project that you've seen multiple times. And it took me a really long time to finish. And I've mentioned this before and I'll say it again. Not because there was anything wrong with the pattern. Just because it is a lot of stockinette. And so it was perfect for car knitting. And so I would set this project aside for when we were traveling somewhere. Or if I needed something that was just a little bit mindless. It is a really easy pattern. It's a great pattern. I love it. This is actually my second one. This is my finished Palm Your Knits. I literally finished it a couple hours ago and woven the ends. So I have not washed or blocked this. So this will look a lot better once it's actually done. It's 99% of the way done. But I've woven in all my ends and snipped them. I know some people don't snip them until after you wash and block them. But I've learned that my cats get too tempted by the little ends hanging off. So most of the time, if it's not a color work project or anything like that, then usually I go ahead and just weave in the ends and snip them. But I love it. I'm so excited. I've mentioned that this spring for my husband and I's spring break, we work at the same school. We are going to Florida, and so I really wanted to get this done because I think I'm going to be able to like plan a meetup with Chelsea, who designed this pattern, and I'm super excited. I've tested a couple different things for her. This is not one that I tested for, but I love all of her designs, and I'm super excited to meet her in person. So this is my finished Palm Your Knits. I used almost exactly 2 skeins of yarn from LambwomanKnits in the colorway Mermaid Kisses or Mermaid Hair. She had a mermaid collection, and I bought Mermazing, Mermaid Hair, Mermaid Kisses. There might have been one other one, but I bought those. This one's Mermaid Kisses. That's what it is. And it's so pretty. I love it so much. And it pooled a little bit, and I'm usually not opposed to color pooling, like when the color bunches up together. I'm glad it didn't do anything weird, like have like a blue stripe down the middle. Like this much doesn't bother me. It's fine. So, and it did a little bit on the other side too. So, but I mean, not a problem. So anyway, this pattern is originally designed. Chelsea had contrasting ribbing on the collar, the hem, and then the 2 teensy little sleeves. But and my first one did. I had a pink one with blue contrasting colors, and it was all sparkly. And I love it, but I wanted another one that was solid. So there's that. It's done. Literally, when I'm done with this, I'm going to go put this in a bucket of warm water with some soak, and then lay it out on the blocking mats. I'm super excited that this is done so I can take it with me to spring break. Maybe wear it while I'm meeting Chelsea. So that's my first finished object. My next finished object is a finished test for my friend MC of Blame the Knots. This is the Henrik hat. And if you've been following me and watching my videos, you're probably like, that is not the color that you planned on using. And you'd be right. I planned on using like a blue Surrey silk alpaca held with like a green silk twisted yarn, and the colors were pretty, but you lost the stitch definition, which I was really sad about. So I ripped that out. And then and there was nothing wrong with the pattern. It was just, you couldn't see the stitches, and I felt like that was a disservice to MC's pattern. Excuse me. And then I tried with like a lilac mysterious fuzzy yarn and a lilac colored Bernat cotton blend, and it was really pretty. And then I ran out of the fuzzy yarn, so I had to rip that out too. So this is my third try. But if that says anything, you should realize how fast this is, because I got all of those things done during the testing window. So and I have this really obnoxious bright blue pom-pom on it. And I took my finished object photos with my very first sweater that I ever made that was in this exact yarn. So it is a lot of neon coral. And the color of this yarn, well, I'll tell you about the yarn. The yarn is Big Twist Value, and the color is coral. So I don't know if they sell this exact colorway anymore, but because this was a couple years ago that I bought this, and this was just from leftover. But it's really soft for an all acrylic yarn. Don't let anyone tell you that acrylic is bad. Like, don't let them do that. Okay, I will support you in your acrylic yarn adventures. I love a good acrylic yarn. Some acrylic does bother my skin, and I don't, but this one's really soft and neon, so that's a 2 for 2 for me. I also, this was kind of like a trip down memory lane for me, because this was the first yarn that I bought and made into a sweater. And then I also used my very first knitting needles that I ever owned. Hold on, let me show you them. Okay, so these are the, whoops, about kicking the tripod over. These were the first knitting needles that I ever owned. First of all, how cute are they? They're just little cute knitting needles. They don't have any labels on them. They're bamboo. They have a purple, like almost like a bead on the top. They're so cute. And I bought them, and the very first thing I made was a neon pink hat. And then my friend stole it because he loved it so much. So anyway, sidetrack. But I used them to make this hat. 10 out of 10 on this pattern. Especially if you're looking for a simple knitting pattern that uses fisherman's rib. Fisherman's rib looks a lot scarier than it actually is. It's actually quite easy. So I would recommend this pattern to anybody looking to knit a fun hat pretty quickly. It comes in baby and adult sizes. So go get your copy from MC's Ravelry website. My next finished object, oh, sorry, there was almost an avalanche. An avalanche! Sorry, there was an avalanche of yarn. So I want to show you something that you've already seen that I've worn and stuff. This is my, ooh, I'm a little close to the camera for this. My lemon drop top. This is my next pattern that I've been writing, that I'm done writing. So this is a cropped version. It hits right at my natural waist or a little bit under. It covers my belly button, which is important to me. And honestly, it may be a little bit longer than that because I have a very short torso. But anyway, the next finished object that I have, because that I've already shown everybody, but I wanted to remind you of it, is I did another sample of the lemon drop top with the updated directions that have a little bit more shaping to fit different bodies better. and I did a full length version in this beautiful color. I'm so excited. It fits so perfectly. It's beautiful. The colors are fantastic. When I bought this yarn, I originally was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like the brown in this. I'm not a brown fan in terms of garments and stuff. Like, I don't know. As you can tell, I like gradually have added more and more neon stuff to my wardrobe, and I don't have a lot of neutrals. And when I do wear neutrals, it's usually black, gray, or white. So I was worried about the brown, but I think because it's like a coppery shade, it goes so well with these other colors. This yarn, the color name is called Dance Party, first of all, which is excellent. And this is from Brediculous Yarns, like with a B. And you can find them on Etsy. They also, I bought this in person from my local yarn shop before it went out of business. And so sadly you cannot get it there anymore, but you can look on their Etsy shop. And I do want to show you this cute little scallop edge down at the bottom. Can you actually see it? Okay, good. It's so cute. It's simple. I actually played around with adding some other detailing at the bottom, and it just looked messy in a variegated yarn. And so I was like, you know what? I love it with just the little lemon slice scalloped hem. We're going to leave it that way. So I'm ecstatic. I am hoping to put a tester call out soon, like this week soon. So let's see. Hopefully, if all technology stuff goes well, this video will come out on Wednesday, March 20th? I apologize if that's wrong. I've not looked at the date recently. Anyway, this should come out on Wednesday of that week, 2024, in case you're watching this in the future. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to make that, my testers will be able to sign up for either a cropped version or the full length version. So whichever one you like better, you'll just be able to indicate that in the pattern application or tester application. So if you're like, oh, I really love that, but maybe not a cropped length, it's okay. Like, I got a full length one too. So it'll be in the same pattern. It'll just be like, you know, what length do you want to make it at? Because I would love a variety of like lengths in my tester group. So I'm really excited about this. I also really want to take finished pictures in this soon so that I feel less stressed about maybe taking this with me on my spring break trip, because I would be distraught if something happened to it during spring break before I got pictures of it. So I'm gonna take pictures soon, but that's my third and final FO, and I'm super excited about it. So please watch for the pattern tester application. I will have that linked in my Instagram bio, and that will hopefully be this week if all goes well. If all does not go well, then it will be the next week. But yeah, I'm really excited about getting that into testing. It's going to be super fun. I have it graded from extra, extra small. So I think a bust circumference of 28 inches all the way up to 64 inches, which I believe is like a 6X in CYC standard sizing. So if you're interested, or you know people that crochet that might be interested, I would love to add some new testers to my testing group. I have some people that have said like, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm not going to be able to test. So I'm looking for some more testers. So if you're interested, I would love to have you apply. Please do. Next, I want to talk about some of my future yarny plans. I was going to share some whips, and then I realized I've been working so hard on the 2 finished objects that I've already shown you, and the 1 test finished object that I showed you, that I haven't been working on anything else. So I'm still working on stuff, but like it's not gonna look any different than the last time I've shown them. So I'll show them when I make more progress on those things. But anyway, I want to talk about 2 projects that I am very excited to start very soon. And I'll show you what progress I have on one, which is very minimal, and my plans for the other one. So the first one is I have applied to test MC of BlameTheKnots. You'll notice a theme here. MC of BlameTheKnots Juniper Berry Jumper. And I've decided if I do not get into the test, I'm still going to make it whenever it comes out. So I went ahead and started swatching. So please don't mind my terrifying situation that is my yarn ball right now. But this is Lion Brand shawl in a used to be ball. Shawl in a ball. I do not know what color this is. If that's important to you, send me a message and I'll figure it out. I bought this so long ago. I think you can still get this color on Lion Brand's website. So like, you just go look it up if you want to like cut out the middleman, which is me. But this is so pretty. It's a cotton and acrylic blend. I assume the white is the cotton and the acrylic is the colorful stuff, but what do I know? But I am so excited. I have had this yarn for so long, like so long. Like I bought it when maybe like 7 years ago. I need to figure that out, but it may be some of the oldest yarn in my stash that I've purchased and that's not been given to me. But I started swatching. I'm not very far. Like I haven't even finished the swatch. Like I started this like before I started filming and I was getting into it and I was like, what am I doing? I need to stop and like actually start recording. But you can see what I have so far. So I got my cute little hook, which I realized I don't have one of my fancy resin hooks in this size yet, like for me. So I may design a hook and make one specifically for this project. And I'm going to try to make it a rainbow one. Who knows? But I'm super excited about this. It's going to form this really cool gradient. This gets worse every time I look at this ball of yarn. It's going to form this really cool gradient. And because it's a cotton blend, I think it's going to be fairly lightweight when it's done, which is nice. Okay, let's see if this works. Sorry, I ran out of storage and had to go on a little adventure there. I got 2 more stitches crocheted. But anyway, what I was saying is I've used this yarn or tried to use this yarn in a couple different projects and couldn't meet gauge because it wasn't knitting or crocheting up big enough, like an actual worsted, and it was knitting up more like a sport or DK weight yarn. So because MC's pattern is made to measure, I'm not worried about gauge on this. I mean, I'm gonna, you know, have a gauge and base everything off of it, but I'm not worried about like, oh, is it actually gonna crochet up like a worsted weight yarn or not? So anyway, it's really pretty. I'm really excited about it. This, oh no, that was bad. I definitely have enough yarn for this. I'm really excited to start working on this if I get accepted into the test. And if not, I will happily make my little gauge swatch and then patiently wait until it is released. So I'm really excited about that. My other project plan that I want to share with you is literally only in yarn form right now. Oh, hold on. There, that's the prettier side. This is just a rainbow, I think it's 100% merino wool fingering weight yarn, and I'm going to make MC's Cherries on Top crop with this. It's a cute little made to measure tank top pattern, and I have 2 balls of this, and I'm really excited to make this, and hopefully have it done by the time Pride Month rolls around and maybe go to a Pride festival of some sort. But because her pattern is called Cherries on Top, I felt like whatever yarn I needed to use had to have red in it, or yarn that I wanted to use needed to have red in it. And this is like one of the only ones. I have some back here, but it's a little bit too thick. So anyway, I'm excited to get started on that. and that will be my next fingering weight crochet project from MC. I'm loving her patterns. I've made a few of them, and basically this is just a MC Blame the Knots fan account video at this point. All right, last thing, I think I have decided what to use. Okay, last thing, I think I know what I'm going to make out of this. I frogged a project a while back with this yarn, and that's why it kind of looks like the shape of ramen noodles. It's very bouncy though. And I think I want to start working up a knit pattern by Claire Jackson of Perfectly Knotted. I believe it's called her Pillars Tee. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself somewhere like over here. But this is so pretty, and it has these little cute speckles in it, and I just want to make it into a top that will fit me now. So that's going to be my next knitting cast on, assuming that I have the correct yardage. I probably should have checked that before I just told all of you that, but I think that's what I'm going to use this for. I have lots of little balls of yarn, so hopefully this goes well. Ooh, almost dropped it again. But I'm really excited to get started on that. Okay, and then my last project, future project that I am planning on doing that I want to tell you about is a combo spin. A while back I finished this, so it's already halfway done. I finished this spin of this magenta cormo, which is so soft and squishy, and I keep trying to not squish it because I don't know what will happen if I keep squishing it every time I look at it. But if you will mentally refer back a few episodes, I bought this beautiful braid of gray merino dyed by Bramble Ridge hand-dyed yarns in the colorway Hullabaloo, and the other day these were just sitting next to each other. They used to be stored apart, and then I rearranged some stuff, and suddenly I was like, this needs to happen. So I'm gonna spin this up. I'm gonna do my very best to have the singles of this one be the same like ply thickness as this one. So when I ply them together, ply thickness? What am I saying? Same thickness as this one, and then ply them together. Because the pinks are, whoa, sorry, struggling. The pinks are so good. They're so close. And I think everything else plied with this pink will look so pretty. I'm really into pinks right now, and oranges, if you couldn't tell. But I'm really excited to start spinning something, and I have a few spinning projects that I have not started yet, but it's going to be a spinning project, and some of them are sweater quantity spins, and I just honestly did not feel like undertaking that next as a spinning project. A while back I said, oh, I'm gonna spin this yellow and spin this green and make it into a sweater, and I just got so overwhelmed with just the amount of spinning that was going to require that I just like immediately was like, nope, I'm not gonna do this right now. So I'm gonna do this as like a one braid wonder type of deal and get me back into the spinning world, because I'm really excited about this color. And for a while I was like, I love this, but it goes with literally none of the other braids I have. So then when I realized that these were sitting next to each other, I felt like this is perfect. This is what needs to happen. So that will be my next, oh, it's upside down. That will be my next spin, will be the combo spin with that cormo that I already have done. So that'll be really pretty, and I'm really excited about it. She's not on Etsy anymore, but she does have her own shop now, which is Bramble Ridge hand-dyed Bramble Ridge. You might just be able to search Bramble Ridge Yarns. I'm butchering this, I apologize, but she's out of Canada, and I know the shipping to the United States from Canada is sometimes bad, but listen to me when I tell you it is worth it. It's worth it. Anyway, I'm so excited about this. Okay, let's talk about the Jay County Fiber Arts Festival. I went a week ago and had a blast. I was not there very long because I wasn't feeling great. It was also absolutely pouring when I went. It was on both Friday and Saturday, March 8th and 9th. And I went Friday. I took a day off of school, took a personal day, not a sick day, no worries. But I decided to go. So I went by myself, and I went decently early in the morning. And so there weren't a ton of people there yet, but there were definitely more vendors than there have been in the past, which was awesome. I bought some things, and pay attention and see if you can figure out what color was speaking to me that day, because it will become very obvious very quickly. So I did a lap around all of the vendors first. I always tell myself, okay, walk through everything first and then go back and then make your purchases after that. That way I've gotten to see everything first and gotten to talk to some vendors that I've met in the past and that kind of thing. So I did my loop. I made mental notes. Then on loop 2, I stopped at one of my favorite booths. Sorry, I keep dropping things. At one of my favorite booths, and it was Bobby of Behind the Pines, and I bought 2 skeins of her Emma fingering base, and the color that I got is called Limited, and just brace yourself for how beautiful this is. Are you ready? I don't think you're ready. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Look at this gorgeousness. It's so pretty. I think I showed in my last video, I have 2 skeins of this, but in 2 different colorways, and I was trying to decide which one to make into another one of my Funfetti tanks. And so I bought 2 of these. These are pretty plump 2-ply skeins, and they come with a decent amount of yardage. It's 480 yards, and I believe it's not on this label, but I think in the past it said that it's like 115 grams, but it is so cute and I love them so much. I am thinking of designing something with this. I haven't decided for sure, but I just love the color so much that it just needs to be in something that I get to wear. I don't know. I love it so much. So that was my first purchase at the festival. Let's just throw those on the floor gently. And then I went to Brilliant Creatives booth, which I have purchased yarn from her before. And she had some really beautiful yarn, but none of it was speaking to me. It was beautiful, but it wasn't feeling like me. And then I kept walking through her booth, and I was like, I literally gasped, and I think she giggled a little bit when I did, but I was like, oh my gosh. Because she had these beautiful hand-dyed braids of fiber, which I don't think she had last year, and if she did, I definitely missed out on that. But she had these beautiful braids of fiber, and I almost bought some that was in the same color as the yarn that I bought last year, but I held off. And instead I bought 3 braids. I only grabbed one to show you, but 3 braids of this. It's a fuchsia tonal, and it's 4 ounces of hand-dyed Polworth top. And it is, look at this. It is so squishy. I'm really excited about this pink because it's not like a completely solid, as you can tell. Like there are like lighter bits in this, and I think it is going to spin up into the most beautiful pink poppy yarn. And I know from experience that Polworth like poofs up a lot when you finish it. Like when you've spun it, plied it, and then finished it and soaked it and let it to dry. And I'm so excited about this. I bought 3 of these, and so I think that will be enough to spin up into maybe a t-shirt type of garment. I'm just so excited about it. I'm just so excited. There's 3 of them and they're beautiful. And I love a lot of pink going on. But all right, so if you're paying attention, we got 2 orange and a pink so far. Well, 3 pinks, but you know. All right. Then finally, the last purchase I made at the Fiber Arts Festival was at AGM Fiber Arts and Angora's booth. She and I think it's her daughter, had their booth set up right in the corner. So right when you walk in, it's like right there. So entrance, you can go this way, you can go this way, and she's right there. Perfect spot. Very tempting for me. I honestly would have been happy buying half of her booth. Her stuff is beautiful. And I had to limit myself because I was like, okay, you have bought some yarn, you've bought some fiber, let's not go too crazy. But I couldn't not buy stuff from her. It's too beautiful. She is an Etsy store too. And so far, if you have not checked out Brilliant Creatives or AGM Fiber Arts, you need to go do that on Etsy. They have wonderful stuff on their Etsy store. But let me show you. So first of all, let me show you what spoke to me immediately. Bam. Like, can you even? I cannot handle how beautiful this is. This is literally, so if you're like, okay, what's your favorite hue or shade of purple, pink, orange, and yellow? It's all in here. It's all right there, all together. And it is spun up into the most beautiful yarn. So this is a heavy fingering or sport weight yarn. And it's Polworth. I have a type, right? At least in sheep. And I just love this. Like, look at that little yarn butt. It's so pretty. So, before I show you what else I bought from her, let me show you what yarn I think I went to pair with this. I don't have a project in mind yet. I have one option, but let me show you what I have in my stash already that I am thinking of using with this. Oh, I showed you a little bit. Are you ready? Listen, guys, I just don't know if you're prepared for the amount of color today. Look at this. I mean, oh my gosh. So these purple, oh, they're so pretty. I love color. I love color so much. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Okay, calm down. Okay, so I'm going to pair these together because this purple matches exactly with the purple in there. It's gorgeous. And they're all the same weight. And these are sport weight. This is from Humble Bumble Fiber Company, which they are at least no longer selling on Etsy. I don't know if I've searched their name and they're no longer, if they are selling yarn and dyeing yarn still, it's not under the same name or on Etsy anymore. So if you find them, tell me, because they have beautiful stuff. But I'm going to put these together. I'm thinking of doing Andrea Mowry's stripes pullover sweater pattern and just doing like 2/3 purple, then 1/3 this, 2/3 purple, 1/3 this, as my like stripes as I go. I don't have a ton of sport weight yarn in my stash. I have well, that's a lie. I have a stash of like sport weight cotton, but that would be weird with this. So I don't think I have any other sport weight. That I have one sweater quantity of like a seafoam green that I think would look terrible with these, so that's not even in play. But that's it. So this is all I got. So these two are 328 yards each, and this one's 324, so it's about perfect. So I think I have almost a sweater quantity worth. So I don't want to do anything that involves color work. I looked at Jessie May's Great Gingham pattern to see if I could like finagle it and make it work with like a short sleeve. But even with that, I think I'm going to run out of yarn because it's stranded color work. With stripes, I don't lose any like yardage by my floats in the back of the project. So those are going to go together somehow. If you have another pattern that you're like, oh my gosh, this would be amazing for it, let me know. Because I want to make something with this right now. Like, I want to stop filming and make it right now. Like, that's how beautiful this is. I could sit and stare at it all day. So anyway, there's that. Let me go back to what I was showing you, right? I'll shut up about this because that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. All right. So just our little color check-in. So far, this is what I purchased. Do we see a theme yet? Okay. The other hand spun skein that I bought from her. I just wish, number one, I want to be able to spin yarn myself that's this good. And I think I'm getting better at it, but I'm not quite here yet. But maybe it's my color choice that is the issue. But look at this. I mean, how do you compete with that? It like matches all of the pink up on my face. It's so pretty, guys. Okay, this is a DK weight yarn. It is also a 2-ply. It's heckin' squishy. And I love it. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with this, but it's got to be something beautiful. I mean, look at it. It's just... So, anyway, again, if you have suggestions, let me know. I don't have a plan for this one at all. I don't even have any yarn that I'm like, oh, it should go with this really well. I have no idea. I got nothing. So, if you have suggestions, let me know. But I'm super excited about this. Okay, color check-in. I'm just grabbing one of the first. How do we feel about this so far? Okay. Ooh, about knocked down the tripod again. All right, and then finally I bought a bat from her. And I will try and keep my yammering about this to a minimum. So this is a really pretty bat called, it has a name, Suspicious Minds, which I love. It has hand-dyed wool, millins, nylon, sari silk, and Angelina. It's about 3.1 ounces. But look, sorry about the crinkling. I want to keep it in the package because, like, I have cats and I drop stuff. So, safety first. Can you just, like, take in the beautifulful-ness of this? Like, how, like, it's so good. How can you... It's so pretty and so fluffy, and I want to spin with it right now, but I won't. I'm gonna hold off, but it's beautiful. Agent Fiber Arts. I had purchased bats from them before and spun up some yarn from them before. I am contemplating using an Etsy gift card that I have to buy another bat specifically to go with that one. I'm having regrets of not buying something to go with it. But anyway, there's that. So that's everything I got at the Fiber Arts Festival. I also got to see an alpaca. And, ooh, I don't remember the alpaca's name. That's unfortunate. I should have written it down. I saw a baby sheep, which was so cute, a little lamb. And I saw 2 Angora bunnies, and they were so cute. They were so fluffy. Oh, and a lop bunny as well. And I so desperately wanted to just pick them up and squeeze them, but I didn't because that's not what you do. But they were very cute, and I hope anyone that got to go to the Fiber Arts Festival also got to see them because they were so cute and endearing. So I had a great time. I didn't stay super long because, again, I wasn't feeling great, but I'm definitely planning on going back in the future. It was so much fun. Also, the same day that I went to the Fiber Arts Festival, a pre-order of yarn that I had purchased came in the mailbox. So, I have certain animals, critters, whatever, that I love, right? I know a lot of people have something like that, but one of my favorite little critters that I love is a rosy maple moth. I have artwork that I've shown on here too. You can go back a couple videos where I show my finished painted frames and have a piece of art by Shelby DeGarmo framed in there, and it's Rosy Maple Moth. I recently got a tattoo that has Rosy Maple Moth on it, and so when I saw that Superglow Fiber had pre-orders for her Cutie Crawlies collection that was going to be Rosy Maple Moth yarn, I was like, well, obviously I'm gonna order some. So and I thought, okay, do I want one skein? What if I love it so much and then I'm sad that I don't have more? So I bought 3. So I can make a full freaking sweater in this, and it came in. I hope this is not a spoiler. Oh well. Anyway, look at it. I don't have all the tags facing the right way, but I also don't care. Look at how pretty this is. So Rosy Maple Moths are like this bright pink and bright yellow. If you want to see a picture of it, go to my Instagram, and I think I have a picture where my tattoo is visible. Anyway, or just Google search Rosy Maple Moth. That'd be a lot easier. Do that option. Anyway, but look at how pretty this is. The pinks and the yellows are just so wonderful, and I'm so excited to use this. I have not decided if I'm going to design something for this, or instead if I'm going to make something by a designer that the pattern already exists. But I love this so much. I'm super excited. So let's just do a quick check-in of all of the yarn that I have acquired and fiber that I've acquired since we last spoke. Do you see a color theme? Maybe. Pinks, oranges, and yellows? I'm feeling it, guys. The pinks, oranges, and yellows are speaking to me, and I am here to pick up the phone call from them. So, I don't know. That was a weird analogy. But anyway, I'm super excited about all this stuff. I have plans for some things, deciding on some other things, but I'm really excited to get started making with my new yarn and fiber acquisitions. All right. Last thing, I just pulled a couple of hooks that I just recently finished, and now that I'm looking at them, I'm going, did I show these already? If I did, I apologize, but you can just see them again. Do podcasters do this? Like, after a certain amount of time, you just don't remember what you've shared and what you haven't shared yet? Because that's what I'm starting to feel like. But anyway, these are ones I just finished, so if I showed them in their unfinished state, I apologize. But anyway, so here's 3 of the few that I finished recently. 3 of my favorites. I have this beautiful gold one, which I did make a mistake in. Nothing's wrong with it other than I probably should not have used gold numbers on a gold hook, but it's okay. You can't see it on screen, but I can see it in real life. So if you are wanting to purchase this, once it goes into my shop and my shop goes live, if you're like, I love this, but I want to be able to see it, let me know, and I can add another label that's a little bit easier to see. But this is a 4.5. It's beautiful. It is holographic gold, and I love it so much. The next one is a 6.5, and it reminds me of Frozen. I may or may not be calling it my Frozen colorway, but it is so sparkly and so beautiful. This one had to undergo some surgery, but you literally cannot even tell what the issue was anymore, which makes me really excited. So this one I was smart and used a number that you could actually see, so that was good. And then my last one is this one, and it's sparkly. It has a very visible number. If you're like, that's okay, this one glows in the dark. And I tested it because I was like, how much is it actually gonna glow? It glows. Like, it glows. So if you're interested in glow in the dark hooks, or you're just like, wow, that's pretty freaking cool, this is the hook for you. I would turn off my lights and show you, but it's still pretty light outside, so you're not gonna be able to see it. But I have those. I finished some other earrings as well in addition to that, and I actually used some new earring molds that I got recently for my leftover resin. So I'm having like close to 0 waste resin, which is awesome. I get a little bit closer every time. But those are really cool. The earrings are not finished yet though, so I'm not going to show those yet, but maybe the next podcast. But there's a lot of some really cool shapes in those resin molds. I am hoping, a while back I thought I was going to have my shop up and running at this point. Then some life stuff happened. Some stuff got busy and I just ran out of time. So it's going to be pushed back. My goal now is to have it open by this summer. So hopefully May, end of May, early June at the latest. But in the meantime, if you are interested in specific hooks, or want to request a specific size or color, send me an email and I can make one, set it aside for you, and have it reserved for you when my shop opens. But I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about all my earrings, and I'm excited to start selling them to people because people have seemed pretty excited about them. So, so pumped. So pumped. All right, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for sticking through this with me. My voice is starting to hurt, so I'm glad that we're ending here. Please let me know down in the comments what types of things you enjoyed from this episode. I love reading the comments from people. It makes me really happy and feeling connected with the crafting world. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time and commenting on videos and responding to some of the stuff I've said. I am so excited to continue to share more projects with you and more works in progress, and some of my more sparkly hooks and earring sets that are coming your way in the next couple months. I don't know if I will have a video at the same time that I normally do after this one. I will be going on vacation in between now and the next video, but I will try to at least take some footage and of any yarny adventures that I get into while I'm on vacation. So, but that wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support. I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, liked this video and subscribed to my channel. I would really appreciate it if you did. And I will see everyone next time.